And welcome back to the Orange and Brown Talk podcast, a Hey Mary Kay edition here on a Thursday. Dan Labbe with Mary Kay Cabot. So let's talk about free agency. Bob Rupel from Novelty, Ohio. Hey Mary Kay, do you find it surprising that Andrew Berry said that he can be as aggressive as he needs to be in free agency with only a few options to get more cap space? Now, in addition to an experienced defensive tackle, defensive end, and wide receiver, a free safety is needed.
You know what? It's not necessarily going to be simple or easy, but Andrew Berry is here in Indianapolis meeting with the agents of all of his impending free agents, trying to work through some things, some existing veterans, meeting with those agents to see about possible restructurings. And I think those things are going to happen, and they will clear the cap space that they need. And they might not even know that they need, for instance, $15 million a year to pay Jesse Bates until they need it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to get him, then you don't need to go to, say, like Amari Cooper and say, hey, can we restructure your contract? So some of these things are kind of done on the fly. You set the parameters ahead of time. You have the conversations and say, hey, we might need to do this. And then you kind of go from there. And it's going to be really interesting to see. You know, I wrote about this week that, you know, they are at least open to restructuring the contract of Deshaun Watson. And that's very significant, because if you can get him to do that and his agents to agree to that, which is probably a win-win for him because he would get more upfront money. If you do that, you know, you don't really have to do 5, 6, 7 other deals. You can probably just, maybe do that one if you can get enough money out of that restructuring. So, I mean, it's something to keep in mind. And I think it's very significant when you're dealing with a contract like that. You're going to have to be very strategic in how you manage your cap and your roster over the next 4 years, with a $55 million cap hit in each of the next 4 seasons. So, I think it is. I think it's significant. If you clear, $20, $30 million just in one transaction alone, it allows you to do a lot of things.
This is always a tricky topic, I think, because I think from a fan perspective, the answer is always yes. From a player perspective, though, it can be tricky because, these guys have made this money and they deserve it. But does Deshaun Watson sort of have that responsibility to, like, if the Browns need to do some things with that contract and free up money, as sort of the highest paid player and the leader of the team and the quarterback, is there a responsibility there, or is it just kind of, or not? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think that he strikes me as a player who is all about winning a championship right now. I mean, of course, they all want the money. He's getting his money. No matter how you slice it, he's getting his $230 million guaranteed. He will do, in my opinion, anything that it takes to bolster this roster and to make this team better. So if they come to him and say, hey, can you move this around? Can you move this out to another year? Can you, lower this cap number to whatever the case may be? I think he would jump at the chance to add in a number of free agents, to go out and get a couple of more receivers, to add to that defensive line. I think he'll do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Well, and in the end, it would probably be a benefit to him anyway, because he'd probably get more money up front instead of having to wait for some of that money. So it would actually probably be a win-win in that sense, in that at least in the near future, he'd get to sort of get some money now and not have to wait till 3 years from now to get some of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because, who knows? He might have already blown through the initial $46 million signing bonus or whatever he got. No, I'm kidding. But if you can get some more upfront money now and do with it what you want, invest it the way that you want, and have it in your control and your possession sooner than later, then that is a win-win. And I think he would be all about that. He really does strike me as someone genuinely who wants to win a Super Bowl for himself, for the team, and for the city of Cleveland.
Okay, Mike in Chester, Maryland. Hey, Mary Kay.